Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's session, we will stepping into the world of database. So we already finished Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and now we have Access. So Access is an application from Microsoft 365 and we use it to build database. What is the database? The database is all information that gathered through systems. For example, you have a registration office at Reynolds. Okay, the registration office, when you come to register for, let's say, a course, or you would want to come to register as a student at Reynolds, you give them some information about yourself, right? You give the information in a way that you fill an application, correct? But this application, all the information you put, it will saved on something called database. And the database is all the information about student. So, for example, you go to a grocery, you want to buy some grocery stuff, okay? Whatever you put in your cart and then you go to the cashier, it will be as a record also in the database for them. So database is something that gather information from the system and keep it until you delete it by yourself. Okay, how to go to Access? You can go from Start and then click on Access, but unfortunately Access today is not working for my device. So I'm sorry, I want to show you some Access stuff from the lesson itself until I fix this problem. But in general, Access is like you can access it in the same way how you access Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. This lesson is called Database Principles lesson, and it's only one lesson. It doesn't show you a very advanced thing with Access. It's just a brief to show you the meaning of Access and how to use it. But if your major is like programming or something with technology or database or data analytic, data visualization, whatever, you will have another lesson or another course. They will show you more advanced stuff about database with Access. So for this level, which is ITE 152 level, we just have one lesson for Access just to show you what's the meaning of Access and how to use it. So this lesson will be 31 pages, around 31 page. And when you take the lesson, you will have different levels. First thing, they show you the meaning of Access. So Access is a collection of data. As I told you, it's collected from different places or different systems in one place. Each database stored the information on tables, and each table have different rows, right? Each row is called a record. So you are a record at Reynolds. As a student, you are a record, and this record have different values, and those values called field. So in these values, for example, we have a record for John, and in that record we have different field. John first name, John last name, social security number, ID number, major, age, address, phone number, email, and a lot of things about you. So each student is one record in Reynolds database, and each record have different fields or data to view. So this is how Excel looks like. Let me zoom in. So it's exactly a table and it have different record. And each system will have different tables. Okay? So for example, if I have a main database, because database cannot be one table, it should be more than one table, and then we connect those tables together with some relations. Now for Reynolds, for example, you as a student, you will be a record in the registration office, a record in your department, a record in the financial office, a record in the bookstore database, and so on. So we have different tables. All of them are gathered in one place. It's called database. So database have different table, and each table have different record, and each record have different fields. Okay? Then we connect those tables in a relation between them. So we have something called relational database. For example, to connect those together, I have to have something unique about you, which is your social security number or your student ID. This unique thing, it's called primary key. So the primary key for you could be your financial in the financial office and everywhere could be your social security number. But because social security number is secure and no one should know it except the financial aid, for example, so we use student ID. None of the students have the same ID that you have. This is the meaning of primary key. So each table have a primary key. Okay, those primary keys, if I connect them together, it's become a foreign key for someone else. So your primary key is your social security number or your ID in the registration office. It could be a foreign key in the financial office. But using those keys, I do the relation between the tables to create one database with a relational database. So the relational database, it's a group of tables related to each other by a common field, and this common field is unique, and it's called primary key. So this is how you create a table, and after you create a table, you create a form for that table, because I cannot show this table for my student in the registration office. I cannot give you the table and tell you, okay, you can register by typing your information, but I give you a form and I publish it on my website and I told you fill the form to register. Anything that you fill in the form will automatically go in this table to create the database. Database have queries, and a query is a command. How can I extract data from a table to create tables? So query is also can perform as an action on the table, such as updating query, deleting query, and so on. The query result is look like a table. For example, I have a huge table for all schools, for all departments and all students in Reynolds. For example, there are 20,000 students, but I create a query. I need just the nursing student for 2025. So when I say that I need a nursing, it's like a filter. So I need a nursing student who registered in 2025. So I will have a new database or a new view for that query result. Or I need just the student who registered in ITE 152. So they will fetch them or take them or export them from the main database for Reynolds and create a new database, small database. And this one is not a database. We can say it's a view or a result for that query. So this lesson will show you a lot of things, and we can divide it as usual for parts. So the part one will be getting started with the Access. So your professor will give you an introduction about Access. How can I explore some stuff in Access, like Ribbon? And by the way, Access have the same ribbon as Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and all of them. But unfortunately today I cannot open it for you. But it's have the same view, okay? And then your professor will show you how can I create a new database. So it's exactly like this. We have ribbons. So they will show you how to create a new database and how to work to secure the warning or warning for security. How can I work with them? And then how can I organize the navigation panel? So after that, your professor will show you different things like creating or building tables and designing those tables with the primary keys. Also, in, let's say, part number 3, they will show you how to managing the records. How can I manage my record? How can I create records, delete old records? How can I import new data set from an existing one? How can I find and replace data in my data set? In part 4, they will show you a table layout and formatting. Like instead of having like a regular table, I can format a table and modify it to make it easier to access. In part 5, they will show you the relationship and maintenance and how to understand the table relationship, which means how can I connect table with foreign keys for a relation analysis. Also, how can I compact and repair my database? How can I do backup for my database? And finally, before you go to your lesson, I want you to create a simple data or a simple table to enter some records. I want you also to try to import data from Excel sheet, for example, with setting a primary key and make it in an Access. And I want you to complete any task that your professor asks you to do for this week. Thank you for joining. And at the end, I want you to focus on that database is everywhere, and you need to really um, take a look in that one exact, especially if you are not, if your major is not IT, just take a look in this. But if your major is IT, try to enhance yourself with database. Okay, see